absolutely clear. One of them is that there's a God. All right, first sentence in the Bible, there's a God, right? Now, there either is a God or there isn't, and the Bible says there is. Now, the Bible tells us that God created the universe, He created the world, He created humans, He made it perfectly, it was beautiful. It was set up to function in an amazing way. And when He set it up according to certain laws or principles, and some of these you learn about in school, believe it or not. They're called physical laws, right? It's how our world, how our universe works. One of them, super familiar, I'm sure you've all heard of it, it's called gravity. It's how we understand the way we stick to the earth, and it allows life to happen, right? That's kind of a physical principle. Now, the Bible also lays out this idea that there are moral laws or moral principles. Now, some people believe that the Bible is a boring book full of a bunch of rules that are all about killing your fun. And if you want to believe that, that's fine. You can. I'm just here to say that I've come to the opposite conclusion. Let me explain why. Let's just take, for instance, one classic rule that God set up in the Bible. Even if you've never read it, you've probably heard it, and it's don't steal. Basic rule, simple rule, God said don't steal. Now imagine a world for just a few minutes, just imagine a world in which nobody ever stole anything. You wouldn't need to lock your doors at night, you wouldn't need to worry about your phone or your device sitting on the floor and somebody coming by and taking it, because nobody steals. So if everybody in the world obeyed that one rule, your life would be better. Now, there are more rules that are in the Bible, and the thing is, when they boil all down to their basic kind of idea, it basically deals with the fact that every person, even if they won't admit it, every person that's ever lived, every person that lives now, is selfish in some way or another. And when we act selfishly, we're breaking these rules. Problem comes when we break the rules, either the physical ones or the moral ones, there are consequences. All right, let's go back to gravity for a second. Remember, it's a good thing you just stuck to earth, but if you step off this building, you're going to fall, you'll probably get hurt, and you might even die, and that's not even a joke. It's just how the world works, right? So, the same kind of thing works with these moral rules. Whenever we break them, there are consequences. For one thing, when I break these moral rules that God set up about how we interact with people, I start to hurt people. I start to cause pain in other people's lives. You start to cause pain in other people's lives. We contribute to how messy the world is. We're all part of it. Not only do we hurt other people, but we ourselves start to get hurt. We start to get damaged. We start to feel violated because of what other people are doing in breaking these laws. And so our world gets messier and messier. Even if you don't believe in God, I'm sure you'd admit that our world's pretty messed up sometimes. Now, the consequences don't just stop there, according to the Bible. Not only do we break our relationships with people, but if God set up these rules and He set them up for our benefit, and we break them, we're basically saying, God, we don't care what you have to say. We don't care that you set them up for our benefit. We're going to do our own thing and forget you. And in doing that, not only do we break God's rules, but we break His heart, and we break our relationship with Him. And when we break that relationship with God, we deserve to be punished. Like you even get this if you don't believe in God, right? Like if you disobey the rules at school or at home or in our country, you get in trouble. Like there's discipline. And the Bible tells us that not only are we separated from God in this life and have to deal with the consequences here, but the Bible's very clear that life is not over when we die. That there's an afterlife. There's an eternity after this. And you have one of two possibilities. One is to spend it with God in the best existence possible, or away from God in the worst existence possible because of what we've earned. Now that's the background basic stuff. Maybe you've heard that before. I had heard that a lot. But here's where I made my mistake. I got into my mind, okay, if I've broken the rules, if I deserve to be punished, if I've damaged people around me, then what can I do to fix it? So I thought it through and I thought, okay, I got it. If I could just be a good person, if I could be a moral person, if I can obey all the rules, if I can let my good stuff just outweigh my bad stuff, if I could do that, if I could just be perfect, then that would be enough. So I became obsessed with perfection. Day after day, week after week, month after month, trying to be perfect, trying to follow every rule so that I could fix what I'd broken. And I wish I would have understood how big of a mistake this was. Because the Bible makes it very clear that nothing you can do can fix what you've already broken. Nothing we can do on our own can fix that. It's only by God's gift or his grace to us that we have a chance of having it fixed. And I wish I would have understood this, because here I was trying to do exactly what the Bible says you cannot do, and I was literally going crazy. Now, on the other hand, there might be some people here and you're like, okay, maybe you've tried this idea, like if I'm a good person, like then God's cool with that, and there's a problem with that. But some of you might be here tonight and you're like, man, you look at a guy like me and you're like, well, you tried to be good, you tried to be moral, you tried to follow the rules, you tried to fix what you did, and it didn't work for you. And if you couldn't do it, then there's absolutely no chance for me, because I've already messed up too many times. I've already made too many poor decisions. I've already had other people violate my life so much that there's no way I'm worth anything to God. There's no way that God could love me or like me or want a relationship with me. That's just impossible. But that's a mistake too, because the Bible speaks directly to you when God says that he loves you so much. He loves us so much that even when we're a mess, even when we don't care about him, even when we don't believe in him, he believes in us so much and loves us so much that he decided to do the work that we couldn't do ourselves. And here's how he did it. There's a real person in history. Even people that don't believe in God, if they're being honest, they'll admit that he's a real person. And his name is Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus walked on earth. And the Bible gives us more details about his life. It says that he is God's son, and because he's God's son, he's the only person to ever walk on earth and never do anything wrong. He was totally innocent. He only ever contributed good to the world. And yet history tells us he was put on trial, and he was sentenced to death. And so he was murdered, even though he hadn't done anything wrong. And the Bible goes on to say that because he was innocent, didn't deserve punishment, and yet was still punished, the Bible tells us that Jesus could take our place. The punishment that I deserve, the punishment that you deserve, the punishment that we've earned, Jesus takes it on himself, gives himself in our place, so that I don't have to be afraid anymore. That if I mess up, or if I'm less than perfect, that God's just going to strike me down. Because Jesus already took that from me. And that sacrifice that he made is available to every person in this room. Because the Bible says that God so loved the world that he gave his only son, Jesus. That whoever, it's the worst person to the best person, whoever would simply believe that and trust in what Jesus has done for them would not perish or be separated from God forever, but would have eternal life in the best existence possible, forever with the God that loves them so much. And it all comes down to this. God just says all you have to do is believe it. Will you choose to believe what he's done for you? It's the foundation of what we do. It's what helps us make sense of the world. It's what gives us hope for our future. And that's a possibility too. Now we've got another song for you guys. I hope you'll be encouraged by this one. It's called When You're Lost.